parlance, all in. You know, you've probably seen those poker tournaments on television where they say, I'm all in, and they push all their money into the center of the table, and it's a move that is a last resort, kind of a finishing move for yourself or for others. Maybe you're desperate, and it's your only chance. Maybe you're arrogant, and you think, I'm just going to beat everybody and win this way. To go all in, to fully commit everything that you have. This, for years and years, and honestly, I'm stealing this sermon or this sermon idea from one of my friends and mentors, but for years and years, this has been taught as, this is how you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do. Look, Jesus says, look at this woman. Look at the example of her faith. She went all in. She put it all in. Everything she has, all she has to live on. And that's what you're supposed to do. Put it all in. Give it all to the church, the treasury, the collective, the will of God, the kingdom. I don't know, but go all in. Put it all in. And that's just not, that's just not right. It's just not right. Because this is a move. If poker has taught us nothing, it's taught us that this is a move born from desperation. This is my only chance at winning. You know, honestly, when I think about poor and poverty, going all in, I think about buying a lottery ticket. Have anybody ever bought a lottery ticket? I have, certainly, you know, like it's a fun thing to do. But there's some people in the world for whom buying a lottery ticket is their financial plan for the future, right? Right? Every day you see it. And that sounds like a joke, I think, to most of us. Like, yeah, maybe I'll win the lottery. But for some people, and I know them, and you do too, for some people it's like, maybe I'll win the lottery because that's the only way that this is getting fixed. That's the only way that I'm getting out of this mess that I'm in. That's the only way. And I think of this woman putting her 2 small coins, which aren't even worth a penny, or what it says. She's putting them in to say, maybe if I go all in, maybe if I give everything I have, somehow I'll win. Somehow I'll get a return that is magical, that is dropped on me from above, and all of my problems, all of my hurts, all of the ways that my life is being torn apart will be fixed from on high, from God, from the lottery, from whoever it is that will dispense true healing, true justice to me. I was talking a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in Bible study about the new study of televangelists that came out, or of who is it that responds to these appeals, who is it that listens to these people, and it's very sophisticated, and it's aimed mostly at people like this poor widow, people who are at home, who feel trapped, who feel helpless, who feel like there are larger forces operating on them than they can deal with, and who hear a message that says, if you send only $37.50, it's very specific like that. They said that's part of that human psychology. It's not, if I ask you for $100, it's like, but if I ask you for $37.50, you're more likely to give it because, that sounds like, $37.50. It sounds like I'm actually buying something. It's not just a contribution. I'm buying something. And if you make that investment, if you send in that love offering, God will bless you. God's blessings will shower upon you. Let me tell you this story of some of that. You know the sell. You know the snake oil. You know the hucksterism of that. You know how it is that those televangelists get their money. And so I think, and this is the part of stealing, I think that what Jesus was trying to teach his disciples was not, look how great that woman's faith is, that she actually believes that if she puts in her 2 coins, her $37.50, if she buys that one scratch-off ticket, that she'll be blessed. Look how great her faith is. Of course he's not teaching that. Of course he's not teaching that. He's saying to them, look what they do. Look what they do to people like this. Look what they, the ones in the fine robes, the ones who have the prominent places, the ones who say the long, flowery prayers, the ones who are powerful, look what they do to people like her. They make her go all in. They make her take her whole life, everything that she has, and desperately bet it on black, bet it on 21, bet it on the slim, slender hope that they hold out, that God will be merciful, that justice will be served. We know, Jesus says to his disciples, that was all she had to leave. They ask her to go all in. We in our society ask so many people to go all in. To go all in to be clothed, to go all in to be fed, to go all in especially to be housed, to put everything they have into it, to work longer and longer hours, to take a second job if they need to, or a third one, or a fourth one. We ask so much of those who are desperate, those who are on the bottom, those who are barely making ends meet. Take away all of the supports and all of the structures and say, you, yourself, get in there, put in everything you have, and maybe the dream that's out there, maybe you will be blessed. No, almost certainly you will be blessed. Just have faith. You will be blessed if you work hard and do everything you're supposed to do. You will be blessed. We know that more and more and more. Those who we ask to go all in, or those who have put everything in, who have risked it all, who have crossed borders and boundaries, who have broken out of sick patterns and of bad life situations, we know that when they put it all in, when they give absolutely everything that they have, so often, too many times, it doesn't work out. Life doesn't get any better. The struggle doesn't stop being real. We see it over and over and over again. She put in all that she had to live on. To do what? To feed those who were devouring widows' houses, it said. I'm reminded of a friend I had back years ago in another church. Her husband died, and she was sold by the bank a reverse mortgage. Do you know a reverse mortgage? Essentially, the bank gives you a little bit of money for your house now, and when you die, your house goes to the bank, right? Now, I'm not trying to bash the bank. Some of you may work for the bank. But when I read that about devouring widows' houses, I think of my friend who was a widow. And her house that they had built together and lived in together for 45 years, it went away. It got devoured. It's in my neighborhood. I walk past it sometimes. She's dead and gone now. And I walk past it sometimes, and it's an eyesore. It just looks awful. And I look at it and I think, oh man, you would have never. If you weren't already gone, you'd go. If you could see how this house looks, how it's been devoured. We ask them to go all in. You know, we were talking this morning about God's grace and who it extends to and how far it extends. And we said, are there any limits? Are there any places where we have to draw a line around God's grace? And you've heard me preach before about the line. I remember doing it with this, we're drawing it around the kids, that God's grace crosses all the lines. And we said, yeah, but for those certain people, for those, Hitlers, for those baby killers, for those who do the horrible things of history, like what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to reconcile that? Where are we supposed to draw the line? Can we draw a line? around God's love. And we decided that we can't, but we don't like it. We decided that we can't, but we really don't like not being able to draw that line. Not being able to say, yes, absolutely, we're certain that you're out of here. That God doesn't condone or approve of what you did. You can't say that. But we really don't like it. And when I think about all the ways that we ask the poorest among us, the most broken, the most vulnerable among us, to go all in, to get another job, to sacrifice and commit and mortgage and sign away and go into debt, I think about that and I think, oh man, I wish I could draw a line and exclude the people who devour the houses, the ones who wear the long robes and the finest clothes. I wish. But Jesus doesn't tell his disciples to exclude them. He says they will receive the greater condemnation. I don't know what he means by that. I don't think his disciples do either. I don't think the church historically does either. I know the church historically has taught that the condemnation of God means that you're out. You're on the outside, whether it's now in this life or whether it's eternal. But what Jesus does say to them when he says, look at the poor widow who put in all that she had to live on. What he says to them is that we could put in more. The ones in the fine robes, they could put in more. The ones who are devouring the houses, they could stop devouring the houses. The ones who are sitting back and letting this happen could say, no, don't put her, put me in. The letter to the Hebrews says that Jesus came to be a sacrifice, to sacrifice so that all would be forgiven, redeemed, sanctified. The theology of the letter of Hebrews is not exactly where I always want to be, but where Jesus wants us to be. He's in the place where we are putting in so that others don't have to. Where you, who can do it, are putting in so that the one who only has her life doesn't have to give up all that she has to live on. We ask, and I don't mean we like you guys, I mean we like this society, this world that we live in, this way that things are. We ask so many people to go all in. And so often it's those who can least afford to do that. Jesus asks us to go in. To go in and engage with that. To go in and engage with those who are in need. To go in and engage with our brothers and sisters, our neighbors and our friends, and love them. And say, no, don't put that in. Because I can put in. For you and for me and for everybody, I can cover you with God's grace. Just like you can cover me with God's grace at another time, in another way. Jesus asks us to go all in. Not with every last penny that we have, I don't think. I hope. But to go all in together. To share the love of God with those who desperately need to hear that they are loved, who desperately need to hear that someone else knows and cares about their struggles and their pain, to those who desperately need to hear that they don't have to put in everything they have to live upon, whether that's financially, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically. Jesus calls us to go in together. To get up off of that observational seat, looking at this situation from the outside, and to get involved. To look in the eyes, to hold the hands, to to see those who are desperate and to answer their desperation not with magic, fairy, lottery solutions, but with the love of God through Jesus Christ that calls